evening. Welcome to the Ghost Star N.E.A.R show, where we discuss and actively explore paranormal phenomena. I am your host, Keith Johnson, the co-founder of New England Anomalies Research. And with me is my good friend and guest this evening. Returning is Mr. David Grist.
Nice to see you, Keith.
Nice to see you again. How are you doing?
Good, sir.
And we'd also like to say happy birthday to a special lady.
Right.
Mercy Lena Brown, 151 years today, of Exeter, Rhode Island.
I couldn't imagine being 151 years old.
Right. We've had topics about her on our show. We will discuss her again, I'm sure. But this evening, we're going to be talking specifically about Area 51.
Correct.
And also, we'll be talking about unidentified phenomena.
If you want, we can talk about that.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Unidentified anomalous phenomena.
And I have
which is what we usually explore anyway.
I have a news story for you.
Oh, good. Well, I'm looking forward to that. So, where we left off, talking about some of your personal sightings with this phenomena, unidentified objects in the nighttime sky and the daytime sky too.
Right.
And now you're going to be talking about your visits to Area 51. I've never been there.
I am. It's interesting.
You'll have to enlighten me.
I will enlighten you.
Good.
Well, let me start at the beginning and tell you how we got into this.
Because you know personally Robert Scott Lazar.
No, I don't.
Physicist.
No, I don't.
Extraordinaire.
No, I do not know Mr. Lazar. But my wife and I, when we went on our honeymoon, just after we got married, we went to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And it was funny because the travel agent said, we don't have any inexpensive trips to Florida. And we were going to go down there and see my parents. And anyway, she says, well, I can send you to Vegas if you want. It's only 200 and change, whatever it was. And I said, okay, we'll go to Vegas. We've never been there before. We'll take the trip. So we did. And on the way over, I said, but just before we left, I said to my wife, I said, hey, I got this little book about Area 51. And let's bring it and we'll read it on the way over.
Yeah.
And we read it, and come to find out, Area 51 was only about 100 miles north of that, or northwest of Las Vegas. And I said, well, let's rent a car and we'll go up. We'll go visit. Well, the first time we went up, this is actually the second trip to Las Vegas now we're on. And we went up and we stopped at the little Alien and had some lunch.
Alien.
Alien. And we stopped at the little Area 51 research center that was there as well. And I can't even remember the gentleman's name that ran it now, but he shut it down not too long after we had been there.
Okay.
Or the government had shut him down, I'm not sure which one. But he shut down, and anyway, we were in the little Alien talking to Pat and her husband, and I said, "What? Have you seen much around here?" She says, "Well," she says, "I can tell you that the Air Force is testing." We had gotten a long conversation about me being in the service and all that, and there were a couple of guys in there that were in BDUs, and they'd been out in the field and whatnot up there. We're talking right in the middle of the desert, you know. And she said, so what can you tell me about what's going on here? And she says, well, I think they're testing aircraft that can disappear. I said, what do you mean disappear? She says, well, somebody explained to me that they evidently have some lights around the fuselage of the aircraft that project an image of the other side of the aircraft onto the, for instance, you look at the aircraft and you're seeing the other side of the aircraft. She says it mimics it.
So it's not exactly a cloaking device.
No, but you know what? I saw online just a few weeks ago that the aircraft are now being labeled publicly. That they've said they've developed it and tested it, and it works fine.
Oh, wow.
So she was right. She was right, and that's got to be at least 15 years ago.
Yes.
So I thought about that for years, and I saw that, and I said, she was right. She was talking about it, and she was right.
Well, that's cool.
So, yeah, it was very cool. So, but her husband's died now, and
Yeah.
it's too bad. He was a nice guy. He was a really nice guy.
I've never been out there. Never had a chance
that's-
to meet him or anything. Yeah.
It's a heck of a place.
Yeah.
And it's funny, there are people that go in there, they have no idea what they were looking at or what they were, and I said to Pat, is there another way we can get a better view of the base? And she says, well, she says you can climb the mountain. I forget what the name of the mountain was. It's closed now, you can't go up there anymore. She said you can climb the mountain. And I said to myself, I'm not climbing any mountains. So she said, you can climb the mountain, you can get a good view of it. She says, but it's 26 miles away from the mountaintop. I said, I'm not climbing any mountains.
Right.
So she said, well, there's another gate that you can go to that's about 15 miles behind the town here. She said, I'll tell you how to get there. And she said, but you'll be going into the back gate.
Okay.
And a lot of times, the back gate is now a public phenomenon now. I mean, everybody can see it. You watch any shows about it, and they've got pictures of the back gate. And so, but she says, don't go past the gate.
No.
She says, they will shoot you point blank. They don't care.
Well, as long as you don't go past the gate, then you'll be. So
I said, all right.
how do you do that and relax?
Yeah, you can't.
That's just it.
You can't. And I remember seeing some video of there was a group of people recently that tried to storm the gates and stuff.
Yeah, right. They thought they were going to do that. And be successful.
And what they did was they walked up to the gate and talked to the guys that were there. That's all they did.
Thought they're going to break in.
I knew they weren't.
All these aliens in stasis and everything like that. And
I knew they weren't going to get in.
no,
No way.
there's no way. It's just the way it's set up.
It
It's
is
just
tightly
impenetrable.
sealed.
Right.
Tightly sealed.
Yeah.
Not only do they have cameras, they have motion sensors, they have all kinds of stuff around the grounds there.
Right.
And you can't even walk through the property. No. I mean, there's a lot of open land there, but you can't walk through it.
No.
So.
Well, if I was there, I'm sure I'd be with a group of people, and I'd stick with the group.
Right.
I'm not going to go any place, where they might be tracking you and have their sights set on you.
They do track you too.
Yeah, right. Wow.
They do. I remember hearing a story about a guy that had gone through the gate and tried to get in, and
like
they
the
arrested him
in China.
They arrested him, and they held him for a week.
Really?
And they had questioned him and all kinds of stuff, and they finally let him go. They didn't have anything on him. They finally let him go.
Wow.
So that was that.
Yeah. So what did you experience? Anything unusual at all while you were there?
Well, at the time there was a story about a black mailbox that's right along the road there. I can't even remember the name of the road, what route number it is. I think it's 82, but I'm not sure. But anyway, there's a route that goes through there, and the mailbox wasn't white, it was black. I said, why is it black? Well, come to find out, people were writing their names all over it, signing it and autographing it and everything else. But I had an old copy of that book that told us all about the place.
Yeah.
And so they said it was white, but it was actually black. And so it was interesting. Very, very interesting. Other than that, there's not a lot to see other than the Air Force's training areas, aerial training areas are up in that area. And being in the Air Force, I was, and I've been into aviation since I was a kid. I couldn't wait to see the airplanes,
Right.
Can't wait to see the jets and all that. Well, we saw a few when we had left Rachel, Nevada, which was the town where the little alien is. I said to my wife, I said, let's sit up here on top of the hill for a little bit and see what we can, see if we can see anything. And I had my UHF radio with me because the military operates on UHF. And you could hear one-sided conversations going on. Well, then I realized, we can't hear the controllers because the air traffic controllers controlling this traffic down in Las Vegas, which is 100 miles south of us, so you can't hear anything from them. So, but it was interesting. You'd hear a little bit of conversation from pilots, and then you'd hear a plane going up, but you couldn't see them, because they're up too high. And but there was one time we were sitting up there on the hill, and I said, there's a lot of conversation going on the radio. She says, she was looking around. She had walked away a little bit, and she was looking around, and she says, look over here. So I'm looking over there, and I didn't have my camera out, but a B-1 bomber came through the mountains, not over them, through them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there were two peaks, and he flew right between them.
Really?
Down. Oh, he couldn't.
You gotta know what you're doing.
He couldn't have been more than 50 feet above my head.
Really?
Right over my head.
Wow.
Wow. It was an impressive sight, to say the least. That and two F-16s were right behind him.
Oh, my goodness.
I said, wow.
My goodness.
I was tickled pink, to say the least, for the rest of the trip. It's a heck of a place to visit, I'll tell you.
So you were there twice, right?
I've been there twice. The first time we didn't do much. We tried to figure places out, and anywhere you drove was like, it would take an hour from just the restaurant all the way up to the Groom Lake Road.
Not in Rhode Island anymore.
No, we're not in Rhode Island anymore. And so the second time we were there, we looked around a little more and got a little more bearings. We knew our bearings pretty well by that time. But we had gone in March of 1997, in August of 1997. And it was very, very interesting. We found another air base up there, Tonopah Test Range, which is up in Tonopah, Nevada. And so we went down that road, and we saw the base sign, and we went down the road, and there was a guard there, and he says, no, you can't come in, everything's closed up now. And they'd pretty much closed the base. But anyway, we went back to Tonopah for lunch. We had some lunch, and then we went to the Tonopah Nature Museum, not Nature Museum. It was Tonopah, wow, what was it? Tonopah, it was a museum that discussed everything natural about Tonopah.
Right.
And there was a picture up on the wall of an F-117, the stealth fighter.
Yeah.
And on the bottom of the picture, it was signed by the Tonopah base commander there.
Oh, yeah?
And it said, thank you for helping us keep the secret for 20 years.
Really?
20 years. Can you imagine that?
Oh, wow.
That was amazing. I'd love to see that picture.
That is
again.
amazing. Yep.
But it was a very cool picture. And I was stunned.
While you were there, you and Maria were there, is there any time you felt apprehensive at all? A little nervous? I might be out of my element, there's things trained on us all, and or was it more routine?
The second time it was more routine.
Yeah.
The first time we were a little nervous about going to the back gate where they said we could get a better view, and you couldn't see anything still.
Right.
But we could, we went there at night too, But let me tell you, there's no street lights out there, and you can't see a thing.
Oh, wow.
So we went there at night. We just backed around and left because we couldn't see anything.
All right.
But no, we didn't really have anything that stood out to us.
Yeah.
Everything is so compacted, and the base has been there for 60, 70 years. I mean, they've got everything tightened up.
Yeah.
And you can't see anything there now.
Now, why did the military originally decide to have a base there?
Well, from what I hear, they were looking for a place to develop aircraft.
Yeah.
New aircraft. And the U-2 spy plane was the first one that was developed there. And as a matter of fact, I just saw today a picture online of the base with U-2s lined up along the apron there. But there were no buildings really or anything there, But it was an interesting photo. That picture was taken in 1954. So I know the base has been there since at least 1950, up until today. It's still there. People say, "No, they moved it. They went to Utah or something." And no, they didn't. They didn't move it.
Okay, they didn't. They didn't move.
They didn't move anywhere.
All right.
So
what do you think's going on there behind the scenes?
Well, I
think I want to say that there is stuff that there's topics that you can't really.
There are topics that I can't divulge.
Being military yourself.
Right. There are topics I cannot discuss. But I do know that the public gets to hear what obviously the government wants them to hear.
Yes,
and
right.
even in the top secret material isn't let out by anybody. Everything is compartmentalized. You work on this, and that's all you do. You work on this, and that's all you do, and you don't see what the other people are doing.
Yeah.
So people say, well, they have UFOs out there. No, they not on Area 51. They don't. No, there's another.
I wouldn't think so.
There's another area called S4, which is just south of there, and supposedly they do have UFOs there.
Yeah.
But who knows? You can't see anything. I've gone on Google Earth and zoomed right into where they say they are. I can't see anything. But you can see tire tracks going up to a certain point, and there's people that have drawn maps and stuff, and who knows if they're correct. But
recently the House Oversight Committee having discussions and hearings on UFO and UAP.
Yep.
And Major David Grist has been being a whistleblower lately, so they say, revealing, and he claims that there is alien biology, or let's say non-human, that's how he expressed it, non-human biology there. He says it does exist, he's experienced it, and he's actually being a whistleblower about it, but a lot of people
there are a lot of people that have said they've seen this and they've seen that. And, maybe they're right, I don't know. I know I can't say anything about it because I don't know.
Right.
So.
How close do you think we are, though, to
I think we're really close.
You think really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think in the next couple of years, they're going to just blow it out.
Really?
They're going to say, yeah, they're here. And what else they tell us is
right. So you think we will have full disclosure in a couple of years?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I believe so.
Is it trending that way?
It's definitely trending that way.
And how do you think that will affect society in general?
Well, they say that about 80% of the people believe in it.
Okay.
And 20% don't.
Yep.
So I think
I mean,
the 80% will get their wish,
right.
and it'll be disclosed.
Unidentified anomalous phenomena, that's something you and I and our group, that's something we explore ourselves. And we do come across it.
Right,
You know.
exactly.
Whether people want to believe that or not, we have actually come across it. And we have evidence, we have proof. We've proven it to ourselves, and if somebody wants to be open-minded enough, we can at least give some evidence, some proof of these things we've experienced.
Right.
Because that covers a broad spectrum. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
What do you think this intelligence is? Your learned opinion. I mean, non-human.
Well, non-human, definitely. I get into this argument with my wife all the time because she likes to go to church and she believes in God and all this. And, you know, I say to her, well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. You know, maybe God was an alien. Who knows? Who knows? And, you know, and she just shuts me off. Can we talk about something else?
Well, Sandra tends to agree with Dr. Stephen Greer that this is, for the most part, non-hostile life form, non-hostile intelligence.
I believe it's non-hostile as
That
well.
if they wanted to, you know, kind of squash us or at least conquer us, do away with us, they could have done that eons ago.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're,
God, yeah.
they're so much more advanced than us.
And I think, you know, maybe all these people that have talked about in the you know, referred to angels in the Bible are actually seeing aliens in them.
Well, there is a lot of similarity there.
A lot of similarity, exactly. So, you know, and that's what makes me believe that, well, maybe.
Ezekiel, the flaming chariot and all
right.
that.
Yeah.
Wheels within wheels.
Yeah.
All turning.
And I understand there's some books that were left out of the Bible because they contained too much information about
the
that.
Apocrypha.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'd love to be able to read some of that, but I don't know where to find it.
Yeah.
So.
What do you think of cattle mutilations? How would you explain that? What do you think is doing that, or who do you think is doing that? Do you think it's a secret government cover-up, or do you think it's actually non-human? What do you think is your opinion? Yeah.
I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, if they're so far advanced, why do they need to keep killing cattle? You know, you kill one of them and you should have all your answers. But there's supposedly hundreds of cattle that have been killed.
Yeah.
Organs
surgically removed.
I don't know, yeah. Yep. And they say it's always the female cattle. It's always female. But I don't know. I have no answer for that.
Crop circles. You think is responsible for that?
I don't know. I've seen videos of some crop circles being created.
Yeah.
But I don't
Yeah,
know how,
they've
I don't know
got
how
the
real
hoaxers
those-
and everything
yeah,
like
I
that,
don't know.
and that's pretty much self-explanatory. They
Yeah.
take the board and walk around. But I mean the really, really, like complex designs that have messages to them, almost like mathematical equations, things like that.
Yep.
You know who was knowledgeable about that? Rosemary Ellen Guiley,
Yes.
our friend, is who she was on our show a couple of times. Yeah, God rest her soul. She was very knowledgeable about that. She was knowledgeable about just about everything.
Yeah.
But that's Linda Mountain Howe is. She gets disgusted. She gets I can see the anger in her when you see like her on TV inspecting cattle mutilations.
Yes.
She gets very angry about that. I get angry about that. I see livestock mutilated like that.
Yeah, it shouldn't be happening like that.
No.
But who knows? I mean, they attribute it to something paranormal happening because there's no blood.
Right.
The incisions are made cleanly, things are removed, You know, it's always the ears and the eyes that are removed.
Yeah,
and
that's,
I don't know. I don't.
there's just something wrong about that. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
just something wrong
I agree.
about that.
I agree.
It's,
But I don't know too much about that. I don't follow that as much as sightings, you know.
yes,
That's more my league.
right. And you have had your share of
And
sightings.
I've had my share of sightings.
And you continue to.
Total of 9.
Yeah,
I haven't
total of
had
9.
one in quite a few years, so I don't know.
Well, sometime we'll have to have us a sky watch, won't we?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One of the best places, and it just reminded me of another story, one of my 9 sightings was up at the Situate Reservoir.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was
You're not, by far, not the only one.
No, I wasn't the only one. There was over 100 of us that saw this that night.
Wow.
You know, and I had gone up there. They had what they call well, it was a gathering of amateur astronomers.
Yeah.
And we all went up there and
Seagrave Observatory?
Seagrave Observatory, very good. Yeah, that was the one. And they had us go on the dam that was open at the time,
Right.
which is no longer open. And you know, we were just sitting there. You know, I was looking through other people's telescopes. I didn't have one of my own, but I do now. You know, somebody had said, "What's that over there?" You know, and I looked and I said, "Looks like a UFO to me." I mean, I couldn't have been 18 years old, 17 years old at the time. And some people laughed, and others just continued to watch it.
Yeah, right.
And they said, "Yeah, we think it is, actually."
Wow.
And I said, "Well, okay." You
Yeah.
know, so that was one of them.
Yeah. The group I was in, Monitor East, years ago, a long time ago, early 1980s, my brother Carl and I were in. Late Dick St. Germain ran that. We were going to do a sky watch there in Situate. And we didn't do it, but we came
Well,
close.
I realize why they did it up there, because the skies are so clear up there. There's no city lights to, you know, to invade your viewing area.
That whole area, like Peep Toad Road and Amdale, they're known for phenomena. Peep Toad Pond.
Yep.
I don't think it's that deep, but they've seen things emerge from there. There's been reports of that.
Really?
Anyway. Yeah, certainly. Well, I do want to thank you again for being an enlightening guest, and well, really want to have you on again. We'll always talk about subjects like this. It never tires, you know?
No,
Never
it doesn't.
does. All right.
It does not.
And we're going to do that sky watch soon, right?
We'll do it, yeah.
Clean up. Bring your bug spray, of course, you know?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you very much for joining us this evening, and we'll do it again real soon. Thank you so much, and God bless.